Welcome to Whispered Tales. Today's story is about transforming your life in just 1 year by following a proven English learning blueprint. Alex Carter, a 22-year-old from Chicago, had always dreamed of speaking fluent English, traveling the world, and working in a career that challenged him. But for years, he remained stuck in old habits, distracted by social media, video games, and procrastination. One morning, after missing a job opportunity because he struggled with English communication, Alex felt a strong sense of urgency. He realized that change was necessary and possible within a year. Determined to act, Alex created a 1-year blueprint. His goal was clear: to speak, read, write, and think in English fluently by the end of 12 months. He divided the year into 4 quarters, each with specific milestones. Quarter 1, Foundation. Focus on basic grammar, daily vocabulary, and reading practice. Quarter 2, Practice. Start speaking, listening, and writing consistently. Quarter 3, Immersion. Engage with English media, conversations, and journaling. Quarter 4, Mastery. Speak confidently, think in English, and apply it in real-life scenarios. Alex also realized that success required daily habits, discipline, and accountability. Each day, he committed to at least 1 hour of focused English practice, combined with personal reflection and goal tracking. That evening, he wrote in his notebook, "Change doesn't happen overnight. 1 year of consistent effort can transform my English, confidence, and life. I will follow this blueprint with focus, discipline, and persistence." Alex went to bed that night feeling a mixture of excitement and determination. He knew the journey would be challenging, but he also understood that structured action over time could produce remarkable results. The next morning, Alex realized that achieving his 1-year goal required more than motivation. It needed the right environment. Laziness, distractions, and unproductive habits had held him back for years. Now he needed a space and routine that supported growth. He started by redesigning his study area. A clean desk with only English materials, notebook, dictionary, and reading texts. Noise-free surroundings with headphones ready for listening exercises. A comfortable chair and bright lighting to maintain focus. A small whiteboard for writing daily goals and tracking progress. Reduce noise. 30 minutes in the morning to reading and vocabulary. 20 minutes for writing reflections or journaling. 10 minutes for listening to English podcasts or videos. He placed his phone in another room to prevent distractions and decided that social media would only be allowed after completing his study block. During the first week, it was challenging. His mind wandered, he felt tempted to skip exercises, and old habits tried to creep back. But he reminded himself, the environment shapes behavior. If I control my surroundings, I control my focus. By the end of the week, Alex noticed a small but important change. He was reading more fluently, understanding sentences better, and feeling more confident writing even short reflections. The right environment was allowing him to focus on practice rather than resisting distractions. That evening, he wrote in his journal, "Success is built in the environment. 1 year of consistent growth begins by creating a space that encourages focus, practice, and learning." Alex felt motivated. He knew that with the right environment, his English learning blueprint could succeed, and he could finally see real progress. As Alex settled into his new environment, he realized that consistency was the key to transformation.
Motivation alone wasn't enough. He needed daily habits that would make English practice automatic. He created a structured daily routine. Morning reading, 20 minutes, short articles, news, or stories in English. Vocabulary practice, 10 minutes, learning 5 to 10 new words each day. Writing reflection, 15 minutes, journaling about his day or thoughts in English. Speaking practice, 15 minutes, reading aloud, recording himself, or speaking to a friend. He started small, knowing that trying to do too much at once would backfire. Even completing these 4 short sessions daily created momentum. To reinforce these habits, he used a habit tracker. Each day he completed a task, he checked it off. Seeing the streak grow motivated him to continue. At first, Alex struggled with speaking fluently. He stumbled over words and paused often, but he reminded himself, fluency comes from practice, not perfection. Every word I speak correctly is progress. By the end of the first month, he noticed improvements. His reading speed had increased, he could recall more words without hesitation, and writing in English felt less intimidating. One evening, he shared his progress with his friend Liam, who was also trying to improve his English. "Alex, you're really consistent. I can see your progress already." Alex smiled. Daily habits are small investments. Over a year, they compound into major results. Laziness loses its power when habits are strong.
That night, he wrote in his journal, "Habits beat motivation. Daily effort, even if small, creates long-term transformation. This blueprint will change my life if I follow it consistently." Alex felt confident that structured daily habits were the foundation of his one-year transformation, and that each day brought him closer to fluent English and personal growth. As Alex progressed, he realized that the biggest challenges weren't lack of time or knowledge, it was mental barriers. Self-doubt, fear of mistakes, and the thought, "I'm not good enough," often crept in, threatening to slow his progress. One afternoon, while practicing speaking aloud, Alex stumbled on a sentence and felt frustrated. The familiar voice in his mind whispered, "You'll never be fluent. Why bother?"
But Alex paused and reminded himself of an important truth. Mistakes are part of learning. Every error is an opportunity to improve. He started implementing strategies to overcome mental barriers. Positive self-talk, replacing negative thoughts with encouraging statements. Visualization, imagining himself speaking confidently in English conversations. Progress tracking, reviewing daily achievements to remind himself of growth. Alex also realized that comparing himself to others was counterproductive. Instead, he focused on personal improvement. Each day he asked himself, "Did I practice today? Did I learn something new? Am I closer to my one-year goal?" When negative thoughts appeared, he wrote them down, then countered them with evidence of his progress. For example, when thinking, "I'm not improving," he recalled finishing a full English article without struggling, or writing a coherent journal entry. By midweek, Alex felt a shift. Mental barriers began to lose power. He approached practice with curiosity rather than fear. Speaking aloud felt natural, and mistakes became stepping stones instead of obstacles. That night he reflected in his journal, "Mental barriers are temporary. Confidence grows when I focus on my progress, embrace mistakes, and believe in my ability to improve." A year of consistent effort can overcome any doubt. Alex realized that success wasn't just about routine, it was about mindset. By tackling mental barriers head-on, he was building resilience, confidence, and fluency simultaneously.
By the start of the second quarter of his one-year blueprint, Alex understood that passive practice wasn't enough. To truly transform his English, he needed immersion, surrounding himself with the language every day. He began by making small but significant changes. Media consumption, watching English shows, movies, and news instead of videos in his native language. Music and podcasts, listening to English podcasts during walks and commutes. Thinking in English, narrating his daily activities silently in English. Social interaction, messaging and talking with English-speaking friends. Initially, immersion felt overwhelming. Alex sometimes struggled to understand fast speech or idioms in conversations, but he reminded himself, understanding will come with time. Consistency turns difficulty into fluency.
To reinforce learning, he kept a notebook for new words, phrases, and expressions he encountered during immersion. He practiced using these phrases in sentences, conversations, and writing exercises. One weekend, Alex joined an online English-speaking community. There, he could ask questions, discuss topics, and practice real conversations. His confidence grew as he realized that making mistakes was natural and part of the learning process. By the end of the month, Alex noticed remarkable improvements. Listening to podcasts became easier, he could follow dialogues in shows without subtitles, and his spoken English sounded more natural. The immersive approach accelerated his learning far beyond what passive study alone could achieve. That night, he reflected in his journal. Immersion turns English from a subject into a living experience. Surrounding myself with the language daily builds fluency, confidence, and practical skills. This year-long journey is becoming real. Alex realized that living in English was not just about study, it was about mindset, exposure, and active participation, creating a natural and accelerated path to fluency. As Alex continued his one-year journey, he discovered the power of technology as a tool for learning. He realized that smartphones, apps, and online resources could either be a source of distraction or an accelerator for progress, depending on how he used them. Alex decided to leverage technology wisely. Language apps. He used apps like Duolingo and Memrise for daily vocabulary practice. Speech analysis. Recording himself speaking and listening to playback helped identify mistakes and improve pronunciation. Online courses. Enrolling in structured English courses provided guidance and accountability. Digital flashcards. Using spaced repetition software ensured long-term retention of new words. He also created a digital study schedule with reminders for reading, writing, listening, and speaking practice. Technology became a partner rather than a distraction. One evening, while reviewing his progress in an app, Alex realized how far he had come. Words that once felt difficult now flowed naturally in conversation. Sentences he struggled to construct weeks ago were now easy to write. Technology had amplified his learning and reinforced his habits. Alex shared his approach with a friend. Using technology strategically transforms study into progress. It's not the apps themselves, it's the consistent effort behind them. That night, he wrote in his journal, "Technology is a tool, not a crutch. When used wisely, it accelerates learning and strengthens focus. A one-year transformation becomes achievable with consistent and deliberate use of resources." Alex realized that combining routine, immersion, mindset, and technology created a system where English learning and personal growth reinforced each other every day. Laziness and distractions had no place in this well-structured plan.
By this stage of his one-year blueprint, Alex understood that even the most structured plan could falter without accountability. Motivation fluctuates, and habits can slip if no one is there to notice or encourage progress.
He reached out to his friend Sophie, a fellow learner, and proposed a daily check-in system. Each evening, they would share what they accomplished, what challenges they faced, and their goals for the next day. The goal was simple: consistency through accountability. At first, Alex felt hesitant. Reporting small achievements seemed trivial, but Sophie encouraged him. Every step counts. Accountability keeps momentum going and turns effort into results. Soon, Alex noticed that he was less likely to skip tasks. The thought of sharing progress motivated him to complete each exercise. Even small victories, like finishing a reading session or mastering a new phrase, became meaningful because they were documented and celebrated. One day, he stumbled during a speaking practice. Normally, he might have given up or postponed it, but knowing he had to report to Sophie pushed him to finish the exercise and reflect on mistakes. This simple act of accountability strengthened both his focus and confidence. That evening, he wrote in his journal, "Accountability transforms effort into results. Laziness fades when others support and track progress. Daily check-ins create consistency, which is the backbone of transformation." By the third quarter of his one-year blueprint, Alex realized that time management was crucial for sustaining progress. Despite motivation and accountability, he often felt that 24 hours in a day weren't enough. To overcome this, he developed a strategic plan to optimize his time. He began by analyzing his daily routine and identifying time-wasting activities, endless social media scrolling, unnecessary television, and unplanned breaks. He replaced them with focused English practice blocks, scheduling study, speaking, listening, and reading into specific time slots. Alex also adopted the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break. This not only improved productivity, but also prevented burnout. He divided his tasks into 3 categories: high priority, speaking exercises, journaling, listening comprehension; medium priority, reading additional articles or optional vocabulary practice; low priority, entertainment, casual browsing, or passive activities. By consciously prioritizing tasks, Alex maximized efficiency. He often found hidden pockets of time, like during commutes or waiting in lines, to practice English mentally, review vocabulary, or listen to podcasts. One evening, his friend Liam noticed Alex's progress. "Alex, you seem to get more done in a day than most people I know. What's your secret?" Alex replied, "Time is a resource. Managing it effectively ensures that focus and practice aren't lost to distractions. Every minute counts towards fluency and transformation."
That night, he reflected in his journal. Time management magnifies effort. Laziness cannot survive a well-structured day. Every hour used wisely compounds into fluency, confidence, and personal growth. Alex realized that mastering English and changing his life in 1 year required not just effort, but smart allocation of time, making every day a step closer to his goal. As Alex advanced in his 1-year blueprint, he discovered a powerful strategy: teaching others accelerates learning. Explaining concepts, words, and grammar rules to someone else forced him to organize his thoughts and reinforced his own understanding. Alex started small. He helped his younger cousin Emma with basic English exercises. At first, he hesitated. What if he made mistakes? But he quickly realized that teaching didn't require perfection. Every explanation, every correction strengthened his fluency. He also joined online communities where he could answer questions or explain grammar points. Each time he taught, he noticed that
He remembered vocabulary better. His sentence construction improved. He became more confident speaking spontaneously. One day, Sophie noticed his growth. "Alex, you sound more fluent than ever. How are you improving so fast?" Alex smiled. "Teaching others forces me to think clearly in English. It challenges my knowledge and pushes me to explain concepts accurately. It's like doubling my practice without extra hours." That night, he reflected in his journal. Teaching strengthens mastery. Laziness diminishes when learning becomes active and shared. Fluency grows faster when I explain, practice, and interact with others. Alex realized that sharing knowledge wasn't just helping others, it was an integral part of his own transformation, reinforcing habits, building confidence, and embedding English deeply into his daily life. As Alex entered the middle of his one-year blueprint, he understood that tracking progress was essential for continuous improvement. Without monitoring results, effort could become wasted and mistakes could go unnoticed. Alex created a progress journal where he recorded new words learned each week, time spent on reading, writing, listening, and speaking, achievements and challenges faced, reflections on what strategies worked best. Every Sunday he reviewed his journal. He noticed patterns. Certain times of day were more productive, some exercises were more effective, and occasional distractions slowed his growth. By adjusting his strategy, shifting study times, trying new apps, or adding more speaking exercises, Alex ensured that each week was better than the last. One afternoon, while reflecting on his progress, he felt a small pang of frustration. Some areas, like pronunciation, were slower to improve, but instead of giving up, he reframed the challenge. Growth is uneven. Consistent effort eventually balances weakness with strength. He also celebrated small wins, finishing an article without struggling, completing a speaking session flawlessly, or using a new phrase correctly in conversation became markers of progress that motivated him to continue. That night, he wrote in his journal, "Tracking progress allows adjustment and growth. Laziness fades when every effort is measurable and directed. This blueprint transforms my English and my life because I refine, improve, and persist consistently." Alex realized that success wasn't just about following a plan blindly. It was about observing results, learning from feedback, and refining the path towards mastery. As Alex approached the final stages of his one-year blueprint, he realized that fluency was not just about knowledge, it was about confidence. Even with a vast vocabulary and perfect grammar, hesitancy could hold him back from speaking effectively. To build confidence, Alex focused on consistent action. He challenged himself daily, speaking with strangers online in English, recording short videos of himself explaining ideas, participating in group discussions, giving mini presentations to friends. At first, mistakes were inevitable. Words were mispronounced, sentences jumbled, and sometimes he lost his thought of train. One evening, while sharing a conversation with Sophie, she exclaimed, "Alex, you sound completely different now. You speak with ease and confidence." Alex smiled. "It's the action that builds confidence. Every time I speak despite fear, I grow stronger. Fluency is not just about knowledge, it's about doing every single day." He also practiced self-affirmations each morning. "I am capable of speaking fluently. Every mistake is a step forward. Consistency makes me confident and skilled." That night, Alex reflected in his journal. Confidence grows when action replaces hesitation. Laziness is defeated when I choose to speak, write, and practice every day. My one-year blueprint is now a journey of bold action, not just study. Alex realized that true fluency is inseparable from confidence.
and that every day of deliberate effort brought him closer to speaking English naturally, clearly, and without fear. A year had passed since Alex began his English learning blueprint. The shy, hesitant young man from Chicago had transformed into someone confident, fluent, and empowered. His daily habits, immersion, accountability, time management, and consistent action had compounded into extraordinary results. Alex reflected on the journey and realized the key lessons. Discipline beats motivation. Action every day matters more than fleeting inspiration. Environment shapes focus. A clean, distraction-free space nurtures growth. Habits create momentum. Small daily practices accumulate into massive change. Mindset matters. Belief, visualization, and positive thinking fuel perseverance. Accountability accelerates progress. Sharing goals keeps effort consistent. Immersion enhances learning. Surrounding oneself with English reinforces skills naturally. Confidence comes from doing. Speaking, making mistakes, and acting builds self-assurance. By reflecting, tracking progress, and adjusting strategies along the way, Alex didn't just learn English, he changed his life. Opportunities opened up, conversations became natural, and he approached every challenge with focus and determination. Outro. Thank you for watching Wisped Tales. We hope Alex's journey inspired you to create your own one-year blueprint for learning English and transforming your life. Remember, small, consistent steps, discipline, and a growth mindset are the keys to success.